Hi, I'm Rachel, and welcome to a short introduction to data. Numbers and data are everywhere, from your course, to your daily newspaper, to your social media. It's useful to know some basics about how to interpret the data we're seeing. Let's have a look at ways we might encounter data and numbers. This is a word cloud of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Word clouds show how often words come up in text or speech. This is called the frequency of the word. The larger the word, the more often it comes up, or the higher the frequency. Here we can see the most common word in this book is Harry. Ron, Hagrid, and Hermione are also fairly common. This infographic shows when pieces of the Great Wall of China were built. There is a key at the bottom that matches to the colours on the map. For example, we can see that the blue sections around Beijing were built in the Ming dynasty. This is a section from a Guardian article on families who don't earn enough to afford to meet healthy eating targets set by Eat Well. In this one section, I've highlighted all of the words related to numbers and data. It looks like a lot, but many of these will be words you already know, like half or lowest. Let's look at the first paragraph in more detail. Immediately, we can see some percentages. So what do these mean? The study estimates that 47% of UK households with children don't spend enough on food to meet Eat Well targets. This means that 47 out of every 100 households don't meet the target. A percentage just means a number out of 100. 47% is just under half of the households, as half would be 50%. Similarly, 60% means 60 out of every 100. So 60 out of every 100 single-parent families don't meet the Eat Well target. The same article includes this horizontal bar chart showing how many families meet the Eat Well spending target. At the bottom in red, we can see the bar labelled All Households, and if we follow the numbers at the top of the graph, the red bar ends at about 53, so we can tell that 53% of all households meet the target. If we look at the next bar up, however, this is the households where the main earner is unemployed. Here, looking at how long the bar is and following along the numbers at the top, we can see that only about 20% of these households meet the Eat Well target. This is another bar chart showing how much chocolate is eaten in each country. This time, the numbers are along the bottom, and these show the amount of chocolate in pounds eaten per person. We can see that Germans eat more chocolate per person than any other nationality. Now, can you spot any problems with this graph? What if I asked you whether they ate that many pounds of chocolate in one day, or 1 month, or 1 year? When looking at graphs, we often need to read the surrounding text to help us interpret them sensibly. This scatter graph comes from a journal article about antenatal depression. It shows the relationship between stress levels along the bottom and depression levels up the side. A line of best fit has been drawn through the middle of the points. This shows the general trend of the data. As you can see, as stress score increases, depression score also increases. This graph is a bit more complicated and has a few things going on. It is showing the median income for workers of different ages and education levels in Australia in 2016. Median is just the middle value of a group. It's like an average. So we can see income up the side and age along the bottom. Each different education level is shown by a different colour, and we are given a key. The blue line is workers with a postgraduate level education. We can see that they earn the most overall out of all the education levels, as their line is the highest and goes up to the highest income numbers on the left. We can also see that the peak of the blue line is at an age along the bottom of about 52 years old. Therefore, we can say that postgraduates earn the most overall, and they earn the most during their early 50s. Now let's look at the purple line, which is workers with a regular bachelor's degree. They earn less than the postgraduates, the blue ones, but more than workers with lower levels of education. We can see the top of this curve is quite flat, so there's actually a much wider age range at which they earn the maximum, which is different to the postgrads we just looked at, where there was a very specific age at which they earned the most. It's more even for workers with a bachelor's. Graphs like this can show us some details. Where the arrow is pointing on the left, we can see that near the beginning of the graph, the purple line is actually higher than the blue line. This means that near the start of their careers, workers with a bachelor's actually earn more than workers with a postgraduate degree, which is interesting. Overall, we can see that data is everywhere, even in books like Harry Potter. Every day we're dealing with numbers and data without even realizing it. Interpreting data is an important skill, so it's worth making sure you're happy with figuring out what graphs are trying to tell you. Remember, usually the surrounding text can help, because data doesn't just exist in isolation. I hope you enjoyed this video and continue to explore the world of data.